Alright guys, another update has been live for a couple of days now, which means yet another update tier list. Now, I think I will follow the same exact format which I did the previous time around, which I actually think it turned out pretty good considering the fact that it covers both like a story plus infinite in a single video, so it is actually pretty nice for the most part. But yeah, anyway, so we're gonna jump in. We're gonna briefly talk about units just very briefly, so this video does not end up like being 40 minutes long. So anyway, left side is gonna be story, right side is gonna be infinite. Let's jump right into it. Angel, decent unit all around. It's slightly worse than Guts, although Angel is hybrid, so she is actually better in a lot of cases. So for infinite, you can definitely say that she's meta or hybrid. For story, she's a decent unit, but only a great unit. Next up, we have Boa, the best stun unit in the game. Meta for story, very low placement cost actually, which means that you can place him on the first wave, or rather here, same for infinite. Meta support. Next up, we have Swordsman. This guy is straight up trash, horrible bleed, no damage at all. Then we have Lovely Arankar. Lovely Arankar is actually pretty decent overall. Not a bad unit at all. Does a lot of damage actually. And yeah, wait, why is this category above this one? How do I fix this? Okay, there we go. So for story, we can definitely say that he's a really good unit, very cheap placement cost, so very damn good actually. And I think we can also make the case that he is actually a meta unit for infinite as well. I don't know. I think he does pretty good damage. We could probably just justify putting him up there. I think he's not a bad unit at all. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Moving up, Genos. Genos, another pretty damn good unit. Like actually, very cheap unit, very good like placement cost unit. So if you do have a lot of cash, or rather if you do have a good trait, he's definitely meta for story. Unfortunately for infinite, he's not that great, but he's still pretty decent, so we can just put him there. Obviously, it comes down to what kind of trait you have on him. Like the Genos versus Lovely Arankar, those units are very similar. But yeah, Genos is confirmed to be getting an evolution on the next update, whenever that comes, on the OPM update. So yeah, that's really nice. Like we're actually getting a good unit out of Genos, but for now he's only a great unit. Next up we have Ice Baby, the new Gecko unit that was added in this update. He is a meta support. Now I don't exactly remember his placement cost. He's definitely the best freeze unit in the game, but I think we can also place him in the meta support category, because obviously stuff like portals and raids, which are coming on the next update, will have a lot more waves, which means that you will have more stuff to get through. Next up we have Gogeta. Now Gogeta is a code unit from Toad's Code, so he's a pretty decent unit. Now he was nerfed, so I don't think he's that great anymore, so we'll just put him in trash category. The reason why I don't put him here is because like there is a lot better units to place with the cost and the damage that they have for what they do. Next up we have Gojo. Gojo is actually, since he's a hybrid DPS unit now, although he doesn't really stun anymore, he is still a very good unit, and if you happen to have Overlord or something on him, he is very good. He's also like AoE for the most part, even when he's not fully AoE, like until he gets blue, he's good. And in case you guys don't know, his blue upgrade is actually bugged right now, so Gojo is unironically the strongest unit in the game. If you have glitched on him, he is absolutely cracked. Next up we have Adult Gon. Adult Gon, straight up trash category for story due to his very expensive cost, and with this update we have the introduction of the next unit actually right after Gon. So yeah, even the cripple debuff that he provides is actually trash, because this guy right here, Guitar Hero, is the meta support now for the crippling debuff. He is a lot better. For story, unfortunately, we don't really need him, so we'll just put him in the trash category as well. Moving on, we have Guts. Guts is another meta unit, so you can make the case whether you want Angel or Black Swordsman to be your bleed unit. It just comes down actually to what trait you have. So for example, if you have Avatar Guts, you will be using Guts. If you don't have Avatar Guts, you will be using Albedo. If you have Avatar Albedo. So these units are pretty much identical in terms of what they do. Unfortunately, the game is like not working properly, so the blades don't stack on top of each other, which is kind of a bummer. So you can just bring only one blade unit, but he's a very good unit for story as well. He's on meta, I would say, but he's definitely great. He does have a very cheap placement cost, and he's good. Now, idle for story, such portals, not really the bad. He's still obviously good, so you can use here, but definitely not. And obviously, for infinite meta support, provides 15% range as well. Itachi, unfortunately, even though he has pretty solid placement damage, he's just not good. Itachi, if I make my statement, if you have Avatar Itachi, he can be a great unit for Infinite because of Black Flames, because Black Flames are not a global cooldown. Only if you have Avatar, he can be good, if not, unfortunately not. Giga Chad and Gojo, unfortunately, trash, I shall say, rather, because the fact that you have Heavenly Gojo, he's just better than what he does. So for Infinite, he's definitely trash. For story, his damage is actually not bad. He has a fairly cheap cost, so he could be a great unit for story. Definitely underrated. You could make the case that he's one of the units that can be meta, but I don't think so. I would probably personally not put him in meta. But yeah, that's just me. Next up, we have Heavenly Giga Chad. Now, so basically, as I said, Jotaro over Heaven is a better version of Jotaro. He's definitely a meta support. Provides decent amounts of damage, but unfortunately, the reason why you want him is because of the time stop. A lot of his damage is not like anything insane or whatsoever. So yeah, he's definitely a meta unit for Infinite. And for story, I'm not sure whether you place him on great or trash. Probably on great, because he's not that bad. He does provide decent damage. He's just a little bit more expensive to max out. Next up, we have Lightning Queen. Lightning Queen is actually a beast of a unit. Beast. She does very good damage if you have Avatar, and she does provide the Electrify stun. Unfortunately, for story mode, she is very expensive to use, so we're just gonna dump her straight to the trash category. Then we have Luffy. Again, Luffy just go here, trash, and you could make the case that he's a meta support for Infinite because of his AoE stun with the time skip or whatever it's called, but I'm not sure whether he's actually worth one spot. Maybe he is, just because of his ability, whatever. Mash, obviously, meta support for story, meta DPS unit for story, meta for Infinite as well, provides that slow, so he's a support indirectly, but he still does very good amounts of damage, so definitely goes in the meta category. Next up, we have Minato. So Minato is actually a very good unit for story, very cheap to start out with, and he needs, like, I believe it was 4 upgrades until he actually gets to pop off. I believe it was 4 upgrades. So yeah, he is very good for a story. Definitely will see a lot of play. I would argue that he's better than both of those for story, but yeah, that's just me. For Infinite, unfortunately, he becomes trash now because his crippling debuff that he adds doesn't really matter anymore since you have the Guitar Hero in the game. So yeah, that's about it. Next up, we have Drip Nami. Now, Drip Nami, I would say she's also meta for story. Very relatively cheap placement cost. I think her cost is 750. She does provide the Electrify stuns, so they're very good, like when you want to stall out in stuff like portals and raids later on and stuff like that. So definitely a unit that will see a lot of play for story. Like, guys, this is advice, open advice for every single one of you, right? When you guys are saying I cannot do portals, they're very hard, don't try to kill the portals. Like, start using support units. Stuff like units like Drip Nami or units like Boa especially, that are very like cheap placement costs. They will carry you in portals. So please start using utility. And unfortunately for meta, for Infinite, she is not really meta anymore because we have Lightning Girl, which is just a lot better. But she's still great due to the fact that you can place like many of them. So you can cover like more parts of the map to electrify more. But yeah, if you do have glitched on Lightning Queen, it's actually Jover. Rias, unfortunately, not really a great unit. She is kind of dog water. You could make the argument that she's like great for... I'll just put it in great. Okay, fine. fine, we'll just put it in crate. And maybe make crate for story. I would want to put her in trash personally, but I'm not gonna do that. Next up, we have Roy Mustang. Roy is still a decent unit for story. He has very good placement damage, so he's not all that bad. Unfortunately, right now, since we just got a new banner unit a few hours ago, Roy becomes trash for infinite because he just gets gapped pretty much. And same for Rika. Rico is trash considering we have a Gecko for story mode. I don't remember his placement cost. How much was Gecko Ice? Let me see. What the hell happened to all my units? What? Hello? Where are all my units? 55 out of 100, but I didn't see a single unit. I don't remember his placement cost, sorry, so just give me a second to like check him out. I hope it's the same as in-game as in the lobby, because sometimes they are different. Okay, 1.35k. Yeah, maybe you could make the case that he is not meta for story, although I think he is. Like for stuff like Portals and Infinite, like there should be no problem whatsoever. But yeah, still I believe that Iku is a very decent unit for stories, because you can place her down on wave 1 just to stall until you get money. Next up we have Saber. Saber is just a great unit. She's not bad at all, she's decent. She also got buffed slightly, but I wouldn't really consider her meta. Actually, I don't know, let me check my DPS sheet real quick, just so I can check out how much damage she actually does. Let me find here real quick. Where are you? Saber. Alright, so Saber, well, she doesn't actually do bad damage. Overload Saber does 630k damage. All Saber, why did All Seeing is Shinigami get gutted so much? I don't get it. Oh, that's plus ability, okay. Okay, yeah, never mind. The unit is actually kind of bad. 280, 200k. I don't know. I don't think she is actually worth bringing. I think there is a lot better units to bring instead of her. I think even Albedo is like a straight up better, and the Arankar also. I think it's just like straight up better units than her. I'll just leave her in great units, I guess, because why not? Next up, we have Baldy Boy. Baldy Boy does really need to get his Evo on the coming update. Unfortunately, he's only a great unit for story, nothing too crazy. I would also say that he's great for Infinite as well. He doesn't really do that much damage. Like he can't compete with other units because of his like damage output. Like his damage output is really low. Overload Saitama does only 231k DPS, and even glitched one does 1.3 million. So yeah, speed card. Unfortunately, he's great for Infinite, not meta. But for story, he is actually meta because he has more money. And the same for Speed Waifu. I didn't include Speed Waifu in this, but because they're like oddly similar with speed cards, so I just like went 2 for 1. This unit, Stroheim, absolute garbage. Don't even bother with him. Trash. Next up, we have Sukuna. Obviously, Sukuna is the #1 unit in the game by far. Meta, without any question. Now, Ulquiorra is probably decent for Infinite if you guys actually want to like bother. Although I don't know. I think you just go don't bother. Just like put him in the trash category simply due to the fact that you actually need to spend so much time to get him, and he doesn't be that good. Next up, we have Meteor Guard, the unit that I was talking about. It's definitely a meta unit for Infinite. Is really high up there actually. His DPS is extremely high. Unfortunately, I actually don't know how good he is for story. I don't remember what his placement cost was. Let me check out real quick. I actually forgot. 650. He might be decent for story mode, but that's about it. But yeah, he's one of the strongest units in the game in terms of like raw DPS as of right now. Definitely a great unit. You know what? I'll just do this here instead. Yamamoto is not that great. He only works with avatars, so yeah, we'll just go ahead and put him in the trash category. Since we have a new burn unit that is just simply infinitely better, he's just a trash unit. Now Yami is one of the best starters for story / Infinite. Well, sorry / Portals, so definitely meta. Unfortunately for Infinite, he's kind of bad. And then we have Yuta. Yuta is obviously meta AF for Infinite, and he's actually, I wouldn't say he's meta for story, but I would definitely say that he's actually meta for wait, is Yuta hybrid? I'm pretty sure Yuta was hybrid on his last upgrade, or yeah, I think he was hybrid on his last upgrade. But yeah, he's still a decent unit. Like if you have Overlord or something and you just like gather 3k to place him, he is so strong on placement that he should be able to carry the rest of the portal like by himself. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the 33 units for the tier list as of right now. If you want to swap something around, feel free to let me know. But please, before you say I want to swap this or that, ideally you watch the video and you follow my reasoning. Some people asked me to actually put units in order, best to worst, and let me see, what could we potentially change here, right? I guess Idol has to be at the top, and then what? You definitely need a stun and a freeze before you make the case that okay, no, cripple is still better, like this. Okay, something like this. What do you guys think? I mean, again, Angel or Guts is like one or the other. Great units. Okay, this definitely goes up here. This goes up here. Genos has to get bounced down for sure. I think it's something like this. Obviously, trash category, I'm not even gonna bother. For story, we have Yami at the top. I don't know, something like this maybe. Curse King, Mash, Flash. Lovely Karnami channels. Okay, Boa, Riku, Ice Baby, and then like the great units, whatever. Okay, we can do this. It's definitely valid. What else could be valid? Okay, this guy has to be a lot higher. This guy has to be higher. Okay, something like this, I don't know. But yeah, anyway guys, that should be pretty much it. That should wrap up the tier list. As always, if you have enjoyed, make sure to like the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next piece.